Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly collective reading. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Let's check in on Apollo, and then we'll get started. There's a lot of news and updates to attend to. So there he is. He's sunbathing in the background, as chill as could be. We should all be so lucky. All right. If you're brand new here, the weekly collective is a chance for us to get together and basically break down all the news and information in the week ahead. We'll start off with channeled messages. Then I'll look at a 7-day forecast, followed by the elements, and then we're going to look at what the guides want to bring through. So thank you to all that have voted. Just a couple of quick personal updates as I'm going through all of this. Let me see if I can get my little picture-in-picture going here. But basically, I am planning on getting all of the remaining sign videos done later today. I will post them as they're done to the main channel page. There we go. So Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. I'm going to roll them out over today and tomorrow. And I'm just going to sit here and do first drafts of them, not edit them to perfection, because just like the live stream, it's perfect in the first draft. So sometimes I overdo it, and I know you guys need those. The next round of videos per popular demand will be a combo. So July and August are going to be done together, and that'll commence next week once we're back on track. And I'm trying to move to a shorter format. I read the comments. It looks like that's what would be popular. A couple of members videos that'll be upcoming are some Q&A videos for higher tiers and a healing or deep meditation video, which is something I've seen a lot of requests for. I'm tentatively thinking of relaunching some private readings, which is something that I haven't done in a long time. But I will figure out how I'm going to do that. And the goal is not to overwhelm myself or actually open that up to everybody. The members' videos are going to be a way where you can ask more Q&A. So I'll probably do it at higher tiers to make that accessible, because I'm only going to have a select few available when it's out, and I will announce it when it's official. So more to come on that. And then the last bullet point was one of the other reasons I've been kind of busy is I'm researching moving and potentially moving to another country, and that takes some time. So that is all the transparent updates. I am feeling good, and I am safe, by the way. I've had a lot of great questions just saying, is everything okay? I do live in Los Angeles, and a lot of what you see is focused on the downtown area. Most of the residential areas are okay. But I do want to just pause briefly and say, I'm so happy that people are speaking up, exercising their rights. It was peaceful. I am so sad for all the people that are affected by what's going on. I try not to make any of these readings about that. Maybe if we do some stuff in the members' readings, I can look into some questions around uncertainties and things. We do that from time to time. But this is a difficult time in the world right now, right? This I try to keep as a little bit of a safe haven where we can focus on what we can do this week, what we can do in our lives. And so with that in mind, let's get started, everybody. Okay? But yeah, I am safe and I am okay. But part of the reason that I am looking at relocating is just because of what's going on. And we'll leave it at that. Okay? Let's go ahead and move into channeled messages for today. So what I picked up on tuning in to everybody this morning, I kept seeing like a hand, like this, open hands, like kind of cupped. This can represent an Ace of Cups, but this can also represent the importance of being ready and willing to receive, saying, I want this, or I need this. The latter part is the hardest, right? When we are capable of saying, I need this in order to be happy, or setting expectations in a relationship, or in a job saying, I'm ready for this. So a very active energy, but one that requires knowing yourself and putting yourself out there a little bit. And that's the hard part. So those cupped hands are very heart-centric. And we're in a time right now where we need to lead with the heart. We need to lead with empathy. And it's okay to say something like, I'm scared, or I'm afraid, or I need this, or I'm happy. Expression of the heart and your thoughts, absolutely intrinsic to general happiness and moving forward. The other thing that I'm seeing is just literally like a spark. And this is a time in our lives, in everyone's life, where you really need to find something that sparks something in your life. Passion, intrigue, happiness. And it's important to have everything else, sort of aligned. But if, when it comes to finances and work and all of this, but it's also really important to make sure that where, there's something that just creates a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. And I think as we're getting further along in life, in the world right now, what used to matter doesn't matter as much. It may be a sense of family or community or free time. There may be what is it that truly brings a sense of joy to your life? Because the other stuff is it's a construct, right? We don't take it with us. You don't get to take the titles, the pay, the prestige. That doesn't go with you to the other side. What does go with you are the lessons, the memories, the love. There's a scene at the end of the movie Ghost from the 90s? But anyway, where Patrick Swayze says, the love, it comes with you. That's the one universal thing that absolutely transcends from lifetime to lifetime and I'm paraphrasing that, by the way, but it's love, lessons, and wisdom. You take that with you. The money doesn't matter. The greed doesn't matter. I wish there were people right now that realize that, because I think a lot of what's going on in the world has to do with power, money, and control. These are lower frequencies. These are disposable things that our body doesn't take with us when we go to the other side. So to fixate on them is to fixate on something that isn't going to help you kind of level up. And I'm here to help you level up. So let's go ahead to that point and take a look at the 7-day forecast. All right. Good to see everyone. And again, thanks for your patience. This has been, for me, even just one of the most tumultuous years. I think even more so than the pandemic, because of what's been going on in LA with the fires and everything else, and in the world. So I'm here with you like I was then, and we're going to change things up starting today, starting this week. That's why the reading format needs to shift. I actually prefer live streams, but YouTube doesn't sort of serve up that. If you do only live streams, you can't even find it on the tab, so I have to do uploads. So that's why today I'm just going to go through them and get them done. And then hopefully the next round of videos will be a little bit more accessible and out there for all of you. So thank you for being patient. All right, 7-day forecast. We're using a brand new deck here. This is Alcento, and I did a video with that. I'll put a link later today. This has a bunch of bonus cards. I may even need to look at the book for this because it has 100 cards and a bunch of new ones. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. Here we go, 7-day forecast. Draw a circle of light around your body with your mind's eye. Close your eyes, take a nice deep breath. Let all the drama go, let all the thoughts go. Let's just be present and welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. All right, we have a week coming through ahead of us. Okay, let's begin, and let's kind of zoom out a little bit. There we go. We're going to start off with the energy for today, this Sunday, and we have the Fool coming through. And I had to edit it a little bit. In this deck, the dog is pulling down the back of his pants. So for some of you, there could be a moment of fear. Like, if I do this, will I be embarrassed? What will people think of me? You might be afraid of making a misstep. One thing that I've found in life is that boldness is usually appreciated, and being safe usually doesn't allow you to grow in the ways that you might want to grow. And so I think that this is a moment to truly be as bold as you need or want to be. And I talked a little bit about this in the daily reading, that it's just the first step that is the most challenging. So we had 6 of Swords that came through when I pulled a single card for today. And this is kind of nicely aligned to that. So allowing yourself to simply take one step at a time without overanalyzing, I know easier said than done, is going to provide greater happiness, probably better results overall, and you don't have to worry about everything. Just think, what is the first thing that I can do today to create some progress? It could be an email. It could be, picking up the phone. It could just simply be opening up a book and thinking, how did someone else do this, right? So one step at a time. And I love how the Fool is reaching for the butterfly here. He's holding up the rose and saying, let's do this. If somebody does make fun of you for trying something new or for making a mistake. That really speaks more to their own insecurities. And taking an easy shot is never ages well. So don't worry so much about that. That'll be like a drop in the pan in the long run, okay? All right, let's take a look at the energy for Monday. Change. A beautiful death card here. These illustrations are fun. It's cool to work with a new deck here, but death. Death is about embracing necessary change that's in your life, saying, I used to be this, now I'm this. And it's hard sometimes. So these two cards are kind of cooperating here. So the butterfly and the fool, he's reaching for the change. And on Monday, the change comes through. For the butterfly to exit from the chrysalis, there's a little bit of discomfort. It has to push through that boundary, whether it's a chrysalis or cocoon, moth or butterfly. They are safely wrapped, but if they stay in there, they'll suffocate. So moving from a place of certainty to uncertainty, from safety to the unknown, never easy. No matter how experienced you are, no matter how much you seek or want that, or trust in your own skills, that the first step is the hardest, right? Reminds me of that Sheryl Crow song, the first cut is the deepest, but I would actually change it. That first step, it doesn't have to be the hardest. We talked about it in the daily. We just build it up. We build it up to be more than it is. And I said today, in the daily, take one breath and one step at a time, one day at a time. And that's all death is asking as well, okay? This illustrator clearly read the Sandman graphic novels. This is based on death in that particular book. In that one, it was just a touch or, shake of the hands, touch on the shoulder, something, just one move, one moment, one spark, as we talked about to bring it all together, can change everything. Reaching out. So in Rider-Waite-Smith, all of the aces have a hand. It can be the divine hand or it can be your hand. And it's basically, if it's your hand, you're reaching out to receive or you're giving. If it's the divine hand, it's basically trying to present something to you. So be open to all three of those: taking, giving, and receiving. And taking is different from receiving. Taking is saying, okay, yes, that sounds good. Receiving is, I'm ready to receive this, I want this. So being open for even more, I think, is also something that you could change your perspective. You're worth it. You could receive more than you're imagining, okay? We actually see the legitimate action coming through on Tuesday. King of Swords is a card of communication, but also action. And I love that there's butterflies all over this particular, or these are little fairies, it looks like, too. But be that as it may, symbolic of movement. And we don't necessarily need or want the passive king. That's why we have the little cards there. So, or the little, not the cards, but the little fairies there. So it's important to send out the message, to take to the streets, to do the action that you're seeking. Follow through. Walk the walk and talk the talk. Tuesday's the important day to do that. This is a really great time to write a letter, send a text, or make a phone call. And if there's anything else in your life that you're looking at launching or creating, absolutely, it's really important, okay? The last thing here is, I actually get that some of you might be reclaiming your voice, especially as I'm looking at that little, looks like a sickle. But some of you might be saying, like, cut it out, or I have something else to add, and it's okay to interject. Don't let someone interrupt you if necessary, okay? Let's take a look at the midweek. Major changes. So we have walking towards change, accepting it, stepping into it, and then we really see things starting to shift around the midweek. The thunderbolt is the tower. Here's the interesting thing. Sound travels not as quickly as the light. So you see the flash of lightning, then you hear the thunder. There are warning signs and there are indications of what the next step should be. You'll see it before you'll hear it, or you'll see it here or know it here before it comes into fruition around you. It's precognizance, basically. Premonition. I really want you to trust your instincts. If you do, you can anticipate the tower and you can ride the wave of change. If you don't listen to your intuition, then Wednesday can be a little bit more challenging and you're picking things up rather than gathering up resources, okay? What I would avoid on Wednesday is travel. What I would avoid on Wednesday is difficult conversations. They may not go as planned or as desired. What I would avoid also is winging it. Just as I came into today's reading with some bullet points so that I could quickly move through them and get into the reading, give yourself, like on your phone, some bullet points if you have anything important to do or to say. Planning is everything. Give yourself contingency in time and schedule to basically expect the unexpected, and you'll be fine. Don't fear the reaper, don't fear the tower. Use those energies to your advantage. Like the death card is necessary change that you can control and lean into. The tower is letting go. And it also can be like you're deciding to think of when you're in a home and you're knocking down a wall. If something doesn't work, you can wantingly and knowingly decide, I don't need this. You can say it and you can dismantle it, and it can be a choice. If you don't do it as a choice, the universe makes the choice for you. So be the chooser, be the agent of change on both Monday and Wednesday. Taking a look at Thursday, Nine of Cups. Really great energy. We can see the overflowing love and opportunity and really this ability to kind of enjoy the moment. So if there's been a lot, and again, for many of us, it feels like it's been a lot of everything for a while, do something that creates joy. Hang out with a friend, go see a movie, take a night off. Just do something that is pleasing, is joyful, and celebrates where you're at. 3 of Cups and 9 of Cups remind us of that. You may also have some good news. This can be an extreme high sometimes. Don't let that, whether it's a high or a low, don't let that kind of take your focus off the long-term goals and the long-term vision, but do enjoy the moment, okay? And don't let anyone sort of like burst your bubble is the best word that I can think of, but if you feel that sort of euphoric high and someone comes in and says something nasty, that has more, again, to say about them than you. So everything in perspective, and I think that's going to aid you in the long run. Okay, the end of the week, first reversal. Yeah, we only have a couple reversals today. So end of the week, we have Page of Wands in reverse. Watch and listen. Pages are all about communication. A Page of Swords in reverse would be editing, also listening, but the Page of Wands is looking. So actions speak louder than words. Read the actions, read the body language, listen to your intuition. You're seeing it here and you're seeing it here. And you're also picking up with your senses. Trust all of your sensory information, and before moving forward, use that. And if someone says yes, but their body says no, use that. So if you're in a conversation and someone's like, yeah, okay, I guess we're ready. Even if they don't say, yes, we're okay, just, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. You can hear it in the voice. You can see it in their eyes that they're not. Just say, okay, why don't you just take some time, though? I feel like I don't need this today. How about tomorrow? Like, read the room, read the body, read the tone. It's all of that kind of reading that is going to be important. Can you get things done? Yes, but you might also pick up on something beneath the surface. And this Page of Wands is a little... she's intuitive and she's going to investigate a little bit. She's curious. You really have to ask twice, if not thrice, to get the true answer. So there are many languages. French is an example. Ça va? Oui, ça va. Here in America, it's the same thing. How are you doing? I'm good. How about you? We didn't actually mean any of that. It's the same as ça va, ça va. You have to ask again. No, really, how are you doing? I'm okay. Dude, what's going on? You have to go to the third time usually to get the answer. So we have to get past pleasantries and to the truth. So in many, many languages, I just chose 2 as an example. You have this, how you doing? What's up? I'm good. How are you? But you didn't mean anything and you didn't gather any information. So someone is hiding behind pleasantries on Friday, and you have to go a little deeper. You have to listen. You have to talk. You have to be present. With a neighbor yesterday or something, they only needed to be listened. They didn't want to hear me, and I just listened to them. And then at the end, it was nice. They said, thank you for listening. I said, no problem. In the future, maybe I need to be heard. But that was my moment to just listen to someone else. But I got a lot of information from that exchange too. So listening is a powerful tool, and it's also a powerful gift. use it as you may. Looking at next weekend. Next Saturday, we have the Six of Pentacles. So let me see if there's any scales in this. There are not. But there are resources. So the food and the wine is the resource, and there's a bunch of hungry people at the table. So I was like, where's the metaphor? Oh, they're there. It's in, I was like, the scales better be somewhere. So it's up there in the banner. So intrinsic to this card is the understanding that you don't want to give so much that there's nothing left for yourself. You have to make sure that there is equity in everyone. So if there is a lot of people at the figurative table in your life, there can't be one person that's hogging everything. It has to be shared. So you may have to be the server and saying, I can do this for you. I can do this for you. I need this for myself. The hands that we were talking about, taking when you need to, receiving when you're ready, and giving when you might be able to. It's all of the above. You can't just give, you can't just take, and receiving also requires a little bit of action to get it moving. So you can sit at home and do a manifestation meditation, but if you don't follow through during the week, it's not going to do anything. No one's going to come knocking on the door. You have to kind of go out and hit the streets sometimes too to make the connection happen, figuratively speaking, okay? Balance in approach, balance in distribution and receiving of energies, and just work-life balance too, making sure that everything has its proper place and its proper space, okay? All right, looking at Sunday, we have the Serpent Bearer, and I think this is a bonus card in this particular deck. So with this one, the important thing, I'm going to look at it too, just to see what they said, because like I said, there's 100 new ones. I was like, I'm just going to work with a new deck and we'll pull some things out as we're talking. But serpents for me are a symbol of power. Here it is. It embodies emotional healing and empathy, yes. And it isn't necessarily connected with any sign, which I didn't think it was. But they said for those of you that have December birthdays a little bit. Okay, so with this, someone else may be trying to, this is interesting. I'm getting like the image of pulling chains. Like there's a phrase, don't yank my chain. And it's kind of like, don't try to get under my skin, don't try to control me. And I'm getting a little bit of that. The serpent could be connected also to the solar plexus. And there might be someone that's challenging your decision-making, your authority. It's next Sunday that we're looking at, by the way. And so what's important here is to be aware of that and don't let them get under your skin. It's a power play. This is also a chance for you to make a bold move or a splash. You could come forward in an unexpected way and just announce or request or go for something and say, this is what I'm interested in, okay? So use it's like a Kundalini awakening. Use your power in a way that you normally wouldn't. Don't let someone else yank at that solar plexus energy. And at the end of the day, this is a day where I would avoid negotiations and contracts for sure. And I wouldn't be surprised even in a close relationship if there's something that comes through where you're like, why are you questioning me on this? Just take a deep breath and stand your ground, because this is about empowerment, okay? Okay, so looking at the week ahead, it's impactful. There's a lot going on, folks. I think that the most satisfactory, powerful, and easy days would be Tuesday, because we have your voice, your vision, your action coming through. Thursday, because it might be easier to connect with others and have some fun. And those are the most powerful days. I think that the challenge would be Monday and Wednesday, possibly next Sunday. Monday, accepting change. Wednesday, ambiguity, maybe even a little bit of chaos and finding a way to move through that and not let it pull you under, and very similar on Sunday. So it's really going to be important to know who you are, what you're looking for, and don't let people take you away from your focus, okay? Wow, that was good. I like this deck. I'm going to memorize some of the bonus cards maybe before we use it for the main portion, because I don't like to have to refer to the book, but with 100 cards, there were like, again, almost 20 new ones, which is great. I love this illustrator, by the way, but that many new cards, you have to look at all the meanings. Okay, we're going to move into the elements, fire, earth, air, and water. And let me see here which deck I want to use for that. Okay. This is the only portion of the reading that is going to be specific to any of the signs, so the rest of it is for everybody. All right. Fire, earth, air, and water. Okay, starting off with fire signs. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have the Eight of Pentacles coming through. This is an unusual illustration. She's almost gathering or reaping the rewards for the hard work that's part of the Eight of Pentacles. So sometimes we only see the person like in the throes of production. Here she's receiving accolades or she's starting to move something forward. Normally this is connected with education, learning, and again, producing something. So the fruits of your labor, quite literally, as we look at it here, are something that you're going to be able to see sooner than later. So it's worth it, and you might get some validation this week. There also may be a need to revise or edit. I'll pull the traditional one. I'm actually going to do like the black and white one here because I think it'll come through clearer. So yeah, with the Eight of Pentacles this week, if you're working on a written project, home improvement, or anything in general, you might decide to dig into the fine print and say, you know what, I need to change the wording here, or I need to change the approach. So here we can see the person, like a blacksmith, really looking at it and making sure that everything feels right. Fine-tuning. It's all about fine-tuning, okay? But education is also a part of this. And I like that from a resource perspective, he's getting more. The way that he gets more is by, like if it's making a budget, making a schedule, it's the fine print. Because then you can see output, input, and gaps. So it's a great week to do that, even if that's not fun. It's a good week for written correspondence and for financial fine-tuning, okay? Overall, pretty good week. And if there's a class or something that you want to learn, sign up this week. It's perfectly aligned, particularly as we look at the energy of Tuesday or Thursday, since those were very favorable days. Okay, let's move on from fire signs to earth. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, Four of Cups. Blessings in disguise. If we zoom in, you can see there's a floating cup in the sky. They're only focusing on what's in front of them. And interestingly enough, yeah, she does have three, I couldn't see. So blessings in disguise and the grass is always greener. These phrases both apply to Four of Cups. The blessing in disguise is something is there within reach, but perspective prevents you from seeing it. That's the takeaway. So look around and allow your head space to kind of move beyond, we're talking about the cocoon or the chrysalis, beyond the safety zone, like thinking outside of the box. Comparison of you and a friend or a loved one is a waste of time. It's futile this week. You never know what someone else has gone through to get where they're at, and you never know how much of what they're experiencing is a projection, or what they're telling you is a projection. People nowadays, it's all very, it's manufactured, it's cultivated, it's a better word, but basically they want you to see what they want you to see, and you may not know the flip side. So live your life, you do your thing, let them do theirs, and if someone in your life is doing something that creates a sense of friction or frustration, then use that to make the change that you need, to spark the change that you need to get to the next level. Get inspired, don't get jealous. That's my bumper sticker takeaway on this, okay? There might be something easier or unexpected if you just look around. Something's beneath the surface, something's just a little here, you have to look around, okay? Perspective shift is everything. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you're very grounded in facts, figures, and practicality. So I'm asking you to go beyond practicality this week. Lean into emotion, lean into imagination, lean into possibilities. It's not always going to be spelled out in black and white, and that's frustrating, but it's also liberating if you allow it to be. Let's go on to the air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Queen of Cups in reverse. Let it go. Also, your imagination and your inspiration could bring you into a new place. So she's looking at the reflection and she's thinking, would have, could have, should have. Or I wish I was doing this. It's all the different timelines. as I'm learning different languages, I'm learning two in tandem, but as I'm learning different languages, one thing that you forget as a native speaker are all the different verb conjugations, right? And all the different tenses. But the interesting thing about tenses are their times, like past, present, future. I really think in life we're informed by the past, so the could have, should have, would have only should occupy a very small degree, like learn the lesson, release what happened, and live in the now and the next. So present and future are the tenses of thinking that you want to be in. That's where the power is. Now affects next. Next informs now. They are dancing together, and they're soupy in their organization. And a thought can bring in the next. Okay? And the next can inform the move. So that's where I really want you to put your energy this week. And if something needs to be let go of, regret, shame, anger, just sort of self-confidence issues, learn and release. And then lean into the next, okay? This is a week where I wouldn't add more to your plate. You want to tread lightly and in sort of important conversations and in relationships in general. One little thing could set you off in a way that you're like, why did I say that? Because as someone who falls into the energy of air, I'm a Libra, usually I'm pretty balanced. I'm going to pay attention to this too. There may be someone that says something that triggers me this week, or my fellow Aquarians or Geminis out there where you're like, wait a second, I know better than this. Breathe. Swallow your tongue for a second, and then when you're ready, don't literally swallow your tongue, but like, don't initiate on the words until you're sure that you need to say it. Sit on it for a second, okay? And if you need help, ask for help. You might need some more self-care this week as well, okay? One cool thing, because I like to end on a positive note before we go to the next, heightened sensitivity, heightened intuition, and downloads galore. So for my artists out there, get this stuff on paper. Don't be perfect. Follow my lead today. I'm like, everyone wants it. I'm just going to get this stuff done, get it out to you. It does not need to be perfect because I need just to be present. Like this, perfection is overrated, so just get it out and get on with the next thing, okay? Moving onward to the water signs. We have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So there could be too much of a focus on resources, money, time, or that they could be misspent a little bit this week. So if you're thinking to yourself, but I want that or I need this, ask yourself if you really do need it or if it's just appetite, if it's just desire. Looking at things like money, there may be a room or an area in your life where you can be more effective or efficient. What I like on this card is they chose to put an oasis within reach. All she has to do is decide how to spend a little bit better. And it's time, energy, money, and even thoughts. Okay, Queen of Pentacles in reverse, taking care of yourself. Normally, this is a lush card, so it's very interesting that this deck chose to bring it into the desert. The oasis is within reach. There's an illusion, oasis, a mirage. There's a mirage right now that there isn't enough, because I'm going to pull the traditional card and I'll even show the king. Typically, these are overgrown with vines. Here we go. Both the king and the queen. It's like someone needs to go and do some gardening, especially with the king. He's got like grapes and vines everywhere. But with her, there's abundance. And even if there's a little bit of an empty patch here, we have this little rabbit in the corner that represents quick and rapid growth. All she has to do is decide, where do I want to plant my sort of energy or my attention, and things grow. And in the reverse position, she's taking care of herself. A great week to splurge a little bit in a good way. Maybe, again, going to the doctor, spending some time reading or taking a class. We talked about that with the Eight of Pentacles. It would work with the Queen of Pentacles as well. Moving resources around you so that you feel stable, that you can grow, that you're enjoying your life a little bit, okay? And ask for something if you need to. This is one of the hands that I saw, which is just, could I have some more? Kind of like that. I need a little bit more support in this area. She is still fantastic at making things grow. It just may take a little bit more work or effort. You may not see immediate returns on it, but this card at its core still has abundance and fertility built in, particularly with the little rabbit. Okay? Decent week ahead for everybody. Some significant changes as we were looking at with the 7-day forecast. But folks, The one thing that is constant in life is change. And I'm grateful that, you know, we're on a planet where it's not the same every day. It would be boring otherwise, right? All right, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do that. What I might do is, you know, I'd mentioned doing some member-specific stuff like with Q&A. If we can hit the next milestone, maybe in the next 2 to 3 months, I'll do a Q&A or some pick-a-cards or whatever you guys want me to look at. But we've been kind of sitting on this barrier for a bit. Let's go to the next level. We'll do something fun. It won't be like a weekly collective. It'll be something different. So I'll put that out there as a carrot. And with that being said, let's move into the special topic for today. We're getting out of the way. We're allowing the guides to come through and say what they need and want to. All right, let me go ahead and select a deck, and then we'll move forward. Okay. Let's begin. Again, if you just joined, perfect timing. Just in case you're new, take a deep breath. Let's let go of anything that we might be holding on to. Perfect. Create that circle of light again. Welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters, especially guides. You can also welcome into your own circle ancestral energy. I'll do the same, and let's see what is coming through for the collective. All right, let's get on to the catalyst card here. The stork coming through. This kind of reminds me of that silly thing that we tell kids, like babies are delivered by a stork. I believe it's a stork. So birthing, releasing, creating. Storks are also very good at receiving because they have a great ability to take things in, like food. So in this moment, part of your growth, part of your ability to birth or create is what you're putting into your mind, body, and spirit. This is a week during which you want to prioritize things like meditation, proper diet and exercise, and really paying attention to who you're surrounding yourself with. This is going to help you take flight. This is going to help you birth and create. And it's basically you are what you consume. You are the company in which you surround yourself with. And it's like sort of like paying attention to these things and making sure that it's not wasted time or attention, okay? Let's look at the overall spread and see a couple of things. I'm gonna move, like, I can already see one of the blocks, and I'll see it when I believe it. It's a fallacy. I'm going way out of order, but it'll help us. So this is in hopes, fears, and opportunities. The first thing that my mind was drawn to, and I heard it when I saw this, was show me first. If I don't see it, it can't be. It's also asking you to move beyond the illusions or the projections of people around you or your own preconceived notions, because they blind you, and that's what the Two of Swords is. Stubbornness blinds you. Prejudice blinds you. Expectations can blind you. We had to hit that first because that's what came through. So now let's go to the center and see how these two twos are working together. So the Two of Pentacles, a choice. In order to make the right choice, we have to take the blindfolds off. That's why we had to talk about the Two of Swords first. Try though we may, it's improbable, if not impossible, to spread yourself so thin that you're everywhere at once. For a brief moment, you can be everything to everyone, but it's not sustainable. You can't make everyone happy all the time. You can't consistently do everything for everyone. Somewhere, there's going to need to be a break for yourself. If you don't make the break happen, the universe does. And we saw the day of the week. It was the middle of the week, right? Wednesday. So we don't want you to get sick. We don't want you to have an argument. We don't want something to become more difficult than it needs to. You can stretch, but eventually you will break. That is the message with the Two of Pentacles. Make your choices wisely. Pick and choose when you want to push yourself, then recover. The older you get, the more you realize this is true. It's easy to do when you're a student in school, in your teens and 20s, but once you hit 30, 40, 50, 60, things start to become increasingly more difficult, and you have to choose wisely and more wisely, I should say. You may not have enough this week to get things launched, enough time, energy, or money. Ask for help if you need it. Okay? Know your limits, observe them, and then for the rest of you that are kind of juggling two choices, everything that we talked about with this Two of Swords is important. Just because no one has done it besides you doesn't mean that it can't be done. Just because someone else doesn't agree doesn't mean that it's right. Just because you're not seeing immediate results doesn't mean that it isn't worth it. So you have to go into intuition and get curious and dig a little bit deeper to figure out what's right for you, okay? Right on top of this, we have a Knight of Pentacles. So this is more of a choice, and it's more about boundaries because there's a fruitful and abundant card on top of this. So if you choose wisely, things move along in a really great way. You can turn things around. If you've been challenged, if you've been feeling like there's setbacks, if there are limits with time, energy, and money, making choices, speaking up, recalibrating can help you make a splash. So the Tower can be good stuff too. It can be incoming good news, some resources, someone who's interested in you. It can be something in life like birth, marriage, graduation, getting proposed to, getting a promotion, like good stuff, but it changes everything. Towers aren't always bad. After the Tower comes the Star. Sometimes the Tower creates a star moment. Sometimes it creates a mess. So it's up to you how you want to invite the Tower in this week, okay? It's coming, we saw it, but let's make it a good Tower if we can, right? The Knight is upright, but he's looking at the map. I'm looking at that pentacle, and it's really like saying, it's grounding yourself in why you're doing it. There have been moments in my life where I wonder, what am I doing this for again? Why am I here? I'm sure we've all had that happen. If I look back at my corporate career, it took someone else to say, you don't have to do this. There are other ways. And even someone who told me, like, your connecting flight isn't going to be there if you wait forever. That was actually what it took to wake me up. So look at the map, look at the GPS, and ask yourself, where am I and why am I here? Two questions that you don't always do. Usually when you look at a map, it just says you are here, but it doesn't say why you are here. You have to figure out why you are here, okay? Once more, we're getting encouragement to walk the walk and talk the talk. King of Swords coming through, deciding where, when, and how to take the next step, when, where, and how to speak up. Your voice is important this week. Make sure that you're speaking up in real time if possible. So as you start to get more life experience, you know that it's important. Like if something sounds weird, raise your hand and say, did I hear you correctly? I'll give you an example. Many times, like back when I used to work, we'd go to a coffee place to, just to kind of break up the monotony. But sometimes baristas would get the name completely wrong and really get terrible misspellings and different words completely. And I thought to myself sometimes, like, why wouldn't you ask if that was what the name was? Like, just if it sounds weird, it probably is. So just say, did I hear you correctly? Is this what you said? And that is a great way to make sure that you don't get like a Starbucks cup with your name spelled completely wrong. So you know what I'm talking about. But it can also be someone who is, like I said, we were talking about trying to talk over you. You could just say, let me finish. I heard you. Well, there'll be plenty of time for debate later, but I need to get this thought out. I need to get everything on the board or out. Like, have your limits, have your space, hold court. All of these things are important. But speak up when it's happening. Ask the question when you're unclear, rather than moving forward and making a misstep and then having to go back and retread your path. Okay? So, yeah, there you go. For those of you that have difficult names, you probably just come up with a nickname or a fake nom de plume when you're in a coffee shop. You know what I'm talking about. Whoever just asked if it's a collective, yes, it's a collective for everybody present. Okay, so looking at the Ten of Cups in reverse, what we're looking at in this moment in time is avoiding peer pressure. You know, I was talking about the Four of Cups earlier, not comparing yourself to others. Don't let them compare you either. This happens sometimes with parents, but often with bosses too. Why can't you be more like this person? Because I'm me, because I'm not that person. So you don't have to say that. But if someone is consistently doing that, just say, I'm enough. If I'm not enough for you, that's on you, not me. Don't compare me to someone else. Obviously, if there's constructive feedback and it's coming in a way that feels good, you know, take that with a grain of salt. There could also be a lot of family or peer commitments this week. And these two cards go together. You can't go everywhere. You're probably going to have to say no to some things. RSVP and be honest. Say, I'd love to, but I'm overwhelmed. I'd love to, but not this week. That's it. Or just say no. If you don't want to go, say no. All right. In the crowning position, take a moment and reassess. The Hanged Man is about slowing down. Remember, on Sunday, we had that person kind of wrangling the snake. Interestingly enough, the snake is around this person and this Hanged Man. So if you have that power struggle, if someone challenges you, sit for a second and think, where did that come from? Why is this happening? How did we get here? Not where are we, but how did we get here? Why are we here? And that is going to help you figure out how you want to react to that situation. If you're in a tower moment, good or challenging, the same sort of thing as what do I want to do now? What do I want to do next? It's already happened. The change is afoot. It's all around me. I can't change the change, but I can change how I react to the change. I don't have to be stressed. I could come out of this better than I think. Typically, the Hanged Man has a halo. In this one, it's kind of like what you would see in a church, like an icon, where you see the nimbus or the circle around their head. So it's about enlightenment. It's about finding the insight, the power, and the light in the situation, even when it's not where you want to be. So you may have to hang out for a moment longer than where you think you want to be, but it's okay. All right? Looking into the near future, we have potential partnership coming through. So there's a lot of things that are going on this week that are encouraging you to look around, look beyond. We have Four of Wands energy coming through here. 2 worker bees. The interesting thing here is some of you may be kind of in queen bee mode or wanting to do it all, but we see partnership, community, and collaboration being the key to success. So if you're willing to share your space a little bit with someone, taking it out of love, looking at partnership, more can be accomplished. If there's a mess in front of you, maybe the two of you can clean it up faster. So partnership is the key to happiness, balance, and success. There may be unexpected allies, love, or friends stepping into the foreground. Typically, the Four of Wands, you would see 4 wands, and then in the background, a couple walking towards it. It isn't always there when you want it. For those of you that are seeking love or seeking friendship, you have to set the stage. Setting the stage is working on yourself and making sure that you're balanced. Setting the stage is putting yourself in places where there's more likely going to be like-minded people. Setting the stage is also valuing yourself enough to be patient for the right connection to come through. The more you know what you want, the more discerning you are, sometimes the longer it takes. Not always. We don't want to manifest that it's going to take a while. But when you're picky, sometimes it doesn't happen lickety-split, okay? So just trust in the process. And it's a dance. Partnership is a dance. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow. You can't have 2 leads at once. So ebb and flow, everyone gets their moment, and it's not about winning or losing or control. Taking turns. Everyone can lead, but not all at once, if that makes sense. Okay. This is the summary of how you're feeling at this moment, not necessarily how you're going to feel at this, the week ahead. Stress management. Focusing solely on what isn't. This isn't happening. Let's not make what isn't happening an absolute. Just because it wasn't here yesterday or today doesn't mean that it's always going to be absent. Ask yourself, how can I shift? How can I pivot? What can I change? Ask someone else. This is a card, if there ever was a card, that says, you know what? An outside perspective can help. You're making this more than it needs to be, a mountain out of a molehill. And she's putting her head in the covers. It's the butterfly trying to go back into the chrysalis. When the cocoon or the chrysalis is broken, you can't go back. You can't put things back in Pandora's box. So what's out is out. Now you can focus instead on saying, all right, well, that's done. The world didn't end. I'm still here. I'm still breathing. Let's see what I can do tomorrow. Tomorrow's a reset. The Fool energy that we got earlier, I forget which portion of the reading it was in. It was for today. Yeah, it was for Sunday. So the Fool energy is what will help you through this. I couldn't deal with it the way that I wanted today, but tomorrow, maybe that'll change. Let me get some rest. Let me try with a clean slate tomorrow, okay? Focus on quality and quantity of sleep. Before you go to bed, don't watch the news. Don't have too much caffeine. Don't eat. Cherish your body. Cherish your space. Create some make it sanctuary. And turn off the TV. Close the iPad or the whatever you're looking at, and just breathe a little bit. And if you want to listen to something, you could do like meditation, music, soundtrack, something like that. Something positive to set the switch in the right direction. And breathing is really important too, okay? Take, 3 or 4 deep breaths, put on some singing bowls, music or something, and then allow yourself to slumber. Setting the stage for something better. This is near future. This is now. Now and next work together. In the environment, I like that she's starry-eyed. I like that she's holding a pomegranate. I like that she's pregnant. Starry-eyed. Seeing the star that is the future, the possibilities that are incoming. The pomegranate, owning your divinity. That's like the fruit of the gods, right? And the pregnancy is representing something that you're about to give birth to or step into. The Empress is the penultimate power card here in that coupling. I see them as peers, though. So she's all about boss energy. She's the queen bee as well. By the way, if you want to lead something this week, you can do it. Make sure that you're stepping into your power and really feeling that queen bee energy too, okay? Let me actually move. My door just opened. It wasn't locked all the way. But another thing with the Empress is you can ask yourself in this moment, what do I want to focus on? Where do I want to put my attention? All right, think about that, and then I'm going to talk about this again. We already talked about it earlier. Now I'm going to look at a couple of different interpretations for this. Whatever you're trying to do, it's not obvious. The next step isn't going to be immediately obvious. It's also maybe not what you thought. So the reason I'm learning a couple of languages is my first choice, I found out to get a visa there is very complicated. I thought, oh, I have another one. And I actually already speak that language. So let me just focus on that, get this going, and it's much easier. And when I shifted, I'm like, and maybe this is where I'm going to be anyway. And maybe that's just another connection or whatever. So I allowed myself to shift and sit with something for a second. And then I was like, I think I like the energy better. Ask yourself, what else? Why not this? Why not that? And look around. So if it's a job, if it's a place you're living, if it's a partnership, the one that you see may not be, so life is very rarely, a line from A to Z. You have to sometimes go this way, this way, this way. It can zig, it can zag, it can swerve. That's fine. Think of a snake. It's still powerful. It still works. Flexibility is key. You're trying to make too much of a straight line. Look at other things. If something's confusing, ask a question. I don't get it. What do you mean? Why? These are a simple question without being too direct. Why are we doing this? Or have we looked at this? You don't have to put judgment in it. You can just ask the question. So ask questions, get curious, explore different avenues. You may be surprised. If there's a block in one area, there's often a door that's wide open somewhere else that could be much more beneficial, a lot less stressful, just as fun, okay? All right, taking a look here at the outcome. It's a good card. You need to take a break though. The Nine of Wands is often fatigued. I do like that this Nine of Wands is focusing on the very last step, not getting overwhelmed, She would be aided if she actually looked back and saw how far she came. But let me go ahead and pull the traditional card here and talk about a couple of other things. With the Nine of Wands, you're nobody's fool and you're not easily defeated. But you may be fatigued. You may be saying, Nicholas, I am so ready for this to be done. Okay, so take a break today and give yourself the self-care that you deserve. Here's your traditional illustration. Look at that guy. He is so over it. He has a bandage around his head. He's been through it. He's been through the battleground, but he's still standing there and he's saying, I'm going to finish what I started. You thought you had me? No, you made me stronger, right? Like that Kelly Clarkson song, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So this is like the ninth life. This is the final step. And it's saying you've done this much. Pick up that last wand and complete the task at hand, okay? You may experience this week, though, some difficulty in focusing. There might be some pressure headaches, some migraines, or just it's like a figurative headache, like this person's driving me up a wall. So get the perspective, the time, and the space that you need in order to clear your mind so that you don't feel overwhelmed, okay? All right. So let's expand this forecast. We're going to take this into health, wealth, love, and destiny. And in this portion, we're going to go a little bit deeper just to make sure that you have a clear idea of what the week holds in front of you. All right, expanded forecast. Let me go ahead and turn the camera down and pull all of these expanded cards. By the way, I just saw someone celebrated 47 months. That's crazy. Thank you to everybody that's been here for a while. It's good to see you. All right, let's get going here. Okay, we're going to start off with the energy of health first, mind, body, and spirit. So one of the things that can help you in this moment is creativity. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my life. Dance, singing in a chorus, taking an artistic class, playing chess, I don't care, whatever your expression is, gardening, building something, working on the car. Imagination and creativity, whatever sparks the neurons, right? So for each and every one of us, different things kind of float our boat. Maybe it's gaming, I don't care. Whatever it is that you like to do, put a little bit more of that in your life, and that is going to increase your general happiness and help you deal with some of the changes that we saw on Monday and Wednesday, help you deal with some of the choices that are in front of you, and you have to reward yourself. Put a little carrot in front of yourself at the end of the road, okay? Okay, looking at the rest of the cards health-wise, don't ignore something. So if you are feeling an ache or a pain, or if something just doesn't feel right in your body, speak up sooner than later, because oftentimes you can stop it. It's all about proactive energy. To that end, get your physicals, get your teeth, your eyes, your ears checked, whatever it is that you haven't done in a while. By the way, eyes and ears are connected to Two of Swords. So optometrist and audiologist, if it's been a minute, it might be time. Okay, other things. Balance, it can be actual balance in your body, which is usually inner ear, which again would be part of the ENT thing, but it can also just be pushing yourself to extremes. Don't do it. Work-life balance is really important. Avoid extremes when it comes to, so I want you to have fun, but if there's a vice in your life, whether it's coffee, alcohol, smoking, food, work, we all have different ones. Now is not the week to lean into that because of the rubber band at the center. Too much and it's going to break. Moderation is your best friend, and if you need help and you can't control something, talk to somebody. This usually has to do with like a previous injury in the foot or ankle. So if you've sprained your ankle, broken a bone, or have some circulation issues, we see the sort of constriction happening here. So we want to make sure that you're stretching, that the blood is flowing, and that you're taking care of that ankle too, or that leg. Obviously, this is something you would talk to a doctor about if any of that's going on, but usually that has to do with the foot. Sleep quality and quantity and stress management absolutely are something that you should pay attention to. And there may be someone that you trust and you can lean on for that support, and they can help you see beyond this. And as I said, headaches, pressure headaches, attention spans, all of those things might be affected. The good news is we don't have a Devil, Tower, or Ten of Swords here. We have stress in various parts of your mind, body, and energy. So just be gentle this week. That's the big takeaway. And do something that sparks that connection to joy and love. All right, let's go to wealth. Your resources, your life purpose, and your career. And for wealth, actually, did I say love? So yes, for wealth, we have... this wordy card. I do love the illustrations, but so much stuff. All right. So the unicorn, infinite possibilities. Unicorn is about singular or unique things. What makes you unique, makes you powerful, makes you stand out from the crowd. The rest of this is about the power of positivity. So there's a lot of other words here that are unnecessary, but abandon the darkness, go beyond the ordinary, and become legendary. So the big takeaways here are to step into something that is more uniquely your voice and your vision. Focus on what you can do, what you would like to do, not so much on what's holding you back. Be unique. Okay. Briefly focusing, I'm not going to go too deep because I might want to pull another card at the end, but for those of you that are employed this week, here are your challenges and opportunities. The biggest challenge is you're probably trying to do the job of two people, or you don't have enough time, energy, or money to get something done, but you may know a way. Come forward with a solution. Say, I'd love to help you with this. Here's a way that we can make it work. You could be pulling in new people. You could be leveraging teams. 10 of Cups is a group of people. 4 of Wands is a group of people. Larger, smaller. And so you might be pulling resources and pulling people together. You're the one that is showing the way. Someone else can't see it or doesn't want to do it. And so you give them a choice. When all else fails, here's a big power move that gets you into Empress energy. Say, I can do this if we do this. If not, you tell me which one of these is more important because we can't do it all. And if they say you still need to do it, say, I'm telling you we can't do it all. I'll focus on this, and I'm warning you the other thing probably won't happen. Cover your trail, cover your behind, because the Fool actually had the dog pulling and exposing his buttock. So cover your behind for sure, and make sure that nobody's putting you in a position where they're trying to make you be the one that takes the fall, okay? For everyone else, don't rush. Take your time. Power in numbers. There are things that have not been spelled out, and the ambiguity may not be intentional, but it could be a tripping point. So if you see something that someone doesn't acknowledge or doesn't understand, or if you don't understand it, bring it out into the open. And then you'll be able to achieve what you need to. Your voice and your vision is important to use it. Bring it forward. It's kind of buried here in the past. Okay? Okay. Entrepreneurs. Time to go into the unknown. Death and Tower energy, 2 of Swords. It's scary, but it's necessary. If you keep rinsing and repeating, you end up, I'm getting an image of like being in the tides. Think of what happens with, you lose your edge. So like glass, it's beautiful, but think of sea glass. A lot of times it comes from broken bottles and everything, but when it gets polished down, it no longer has its edge. You need a little bit of an edge if you're an entrepreneur. So it might be time to break through or break open to get that edge again. And that was a very clear image that came through. So rinsing and repeating will eventually lead to dissolving of something. So you have to break free of habitual things that you've done again and again. There are some things that work, but if they're not working, change them. It's time. Finally, it's time. Okay? There's something that you can't keep doing it. Can't do it the way that you used to, or you're being spread in too many directions. you can't shoulder all of this. So you either need to cut something out of production, raise the prices, or leverage support from others, get more investment or resources. Resources are too thin. For each of you, it's going to be different, but look at what we've got here. We actually have more resources coming in, or people that are willing to invest or pay more. Don't undercut the budget. You can't ignore necessary changes. That's the big takeaway here, and I know you're stressed. I get it. Take a deep breath. Tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow will be better. Look at the team around you. Make sure that they're emanating 10 of Cups and 4 of Wands energy, and if they're not, focus on teamwork and team building and thanking and supporting the people that have been there all along the way, okay? Okay, let's move on to job seekers. Stress and a lack of immediate validation on things. But remember what I said about setting the stage. It does feel like things are incoming, but here's a couple of things to be mindful of. I really want you to pay attention to work environments. There may be something immediately that you're looking at where the stress level doesn't pan out. So there may be a high title or salary, but where are you in the equation? Make sure that you're willing to do what's required for that. You may be putting your value into other things and saying, I want more time. I want to do this instead, and I don't need as much of this. So you get to juggle what matters for you. A move could be advantageous. Different city, country, state, or province. You never know until you ask. And so one of the things that I'm seeing here also is, if I think back to one of my favorite jobs, it was my first big one after a year of freelancing or whatever, but I applied to a company that I loved what they did. And I used to sit right by one of my coworkers at a place where I was freelancing, and we'd always talk about this. And one day she said, why don't you just send them like a cold application? And so I did that. Nowadays it's harder to do so, but you could maybe go to a networking event or send a LinkedIn message or something like that. But anyway, I just sent a cold letter to a contact form on the website, and I heard back like the next day, and then I had an interview within a week. And I need to thank that friend sometime. I did, but I need to say it again. But that was important. I needed someone else to say, why aren't you doing this? And then I thought to myself, why don't I do this? And then I sent a really short but like positive burst of energy in that email, and it was the right person at the right time, and it opened up a 4-year opportunity for me. So you never know until you ask, and you never know until you investigate. And just because the job wasn't listed this was me connecting with the synchronicity, because I said, I have this skill. It looks like you guys do this. Are you looking for this? And they said, we're opening it now. Can you come this week? And I said, yeah. I hit the right person at the right time. You never know. So nowadays it would be different, because that was 20 some odd years ago. So now probably you'd have to do like LinkedIn, social media, direct message, something like that. But find a contact that isn't the normal route, or go to an event where there might be something, a professional event or seminar or whatever, see if you can talk to the speaker. There might be a way through that isn't obvious, the 4 of Cups that we were talking about earlier, okay? So it's an indirect route to what you're seeking, but you can find it. Got to go beneath the surface. It's who you know, not just what you know. And there may be a waiting period. You don't want to wait, but it might be a couple of weeks. I say it as I see it, but I still think something fruitful could come from this, okay? Students. Overall, pretty good. Don't add anything to your plate. Like, we're looking now at fall semester probably, right? Because most of you've either graduated or you've signed up and you're going to the fall semester, or it's like your sophomore or senior year or whatever. For the next semester, look at your schedule. Make sure you can make changes now. If there's something that's too heavy or strong, like, make sure that there's something that is balancing it out, and allowing for a little bit of breathing room. So don't overdo it, and don't add anything else. If you don't understand why you need to take something, or if you're worried about something, talk to your advisor now. Get it all cleared up. There's plenty of time. Some of you might be picking roommates. The pool of resources here. you're going to find the right one. I'll give you some validation. It looks good. This person is very together. The worker bee energy is someone that is busy, is committed, could be an air sign. So a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius. I think it'll be a nice compatible match. Be discerning, be picky. You have two choices, someone who's a social butterfly and someone who has a lot of work ethic and probably is going to make a good roommate. So I would go for the one that's more oriented with the schoolwork than the one that might be more fun, because this could cause distraction. I see a lot of people coming and going. Okay. And that's pretty much it for students. For retirees, you are wondering a couple of things. One of them is, how do I get through this moment? This isn't where I thought I would be. I think we all feel that in the world right now. It's uncertain. It doesn't mean it's going to be that way. If we think 5 years back to the pandemic, it came and it went. It changed the world, though, didn't it? So things are changing, but things can be exciting in that change. You could find yourself somewhere else in a different path. It seems like you're being called to get out of the shell. This is a very self-aware and independent card, but we have a lot of people coming through. When I read for Libra, I saw this all over the place, but people are coming through strong for the rest of this week and the rest of this month. This is a great time to mix and mingle and meet new people. Friendship, love, and partnership. That's really where I see the focus being, okay? Resources are a little bit either scarce or scary, so getting a handle on your resources is key. I do think you can find a way to figure out how to make it work. Okay, let's move on. So the next thing that we're going to look at is love and relationships. For love and relationships, we have an interesting card, bittersweet. Anticlimactic. Sometimes what we seek, when we get it, it's sort of like, this isn't what I thought. There may also be something where you're dealing with, like one of you is taking a step up and one of you has something where they're going through a moment. So maybe there's a loss in the family, maybe work is stressful, and maybe the other partner's doing really well. We have to balance it out. Here's the interesting thing in when you think about cooking, it's okay to have a little bit of both. You don't want it to be too bitter. So like on a chocolate chip cookie, maybe there's a sprinkle of sea salt to activate the taste buds and create some texture. So in a relationship, it's sometimes more interesting if you're not both on the same track. So ebb and flow, remember, lead and follow. So if one of you is in the bitters and one of you is in the sweets, then you want to just kind of find a way to help one another through that. As long as the dance and the balance is there, it's good. But if it's too bitter or if it's too sweet, it could be a little challenging, okay? So balance is key. And this too shall pass, okay? Also, when I'm looking at this, it strikes me more as Four of Cups, like malaise. She's thinking to herself rather like, but I still want this, I still want that. That's actually not a bad thing. It's good to still want. It gives you goals. Then you can just ask yourself, which one of these things do I really need? And what am I going to do to really make that happen? Okay, let's break this down. Starting to look at partners first. I already talked a little bit about this, but let's go deeper. So in partnership, one of you might be busier than the other, and the other partner is like, do you see, hear, and appreciate me? Making time and saying thank you, I love you, and I see you in a way that seems authentic and real, and in real time is key. There's a desire for more of this. Spending time with your partner and with your partner's friends, and so group activities and then one-on-one. And you may wonder, how am I going to fit all this in you make time. This is a time where you have to make a little bit more time for one another and doing some of these other things besides just work or the day-to-day partnerships. Did you do the laundry? Did you go to the bank? Pick up the kids? Whatever all these other things are, they're part of the schedule, but we need to have the fun and the fluidity of the Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups as well. Stress is real. Stress is here. Talk through it, but you're also not your partner's therapist, and they're not your therapist. So if you need one, find one. Or if you need to talk to a friend or phone a friend, phone a friend. We don't want to go into mama or papa mode with our partner. So basically, you don't want to be their parent. You want to be their partner. So that's coming through as well. Don't push one another. Present it. Let them meet you halfway. That's really what this is about. Okay? Manageable. Single and looking, can you find someone? Yes, you can. We have someone that may have a ready-made family. That's one thing. You might find someone that wants to immediately get into the couple experience, moving in or calling it like an exclusive thing faster than you're ready. So be mindful of that. Just because this isn't here yet, the Four of Wands is super auspicious. So you may have had something and lost it, and you're like, when is it coming back? I see something better even than this coming through in the future, so just be patient. Hang out for a second. Don't rush. Don't go headfirst into something, okay? Hang out for a moment longer. What you're looking for is going to come when you're not looking for it, and that's super frustrating, but it's true. When you're just going about your business, you'll bump into the right person at the right place at the right time, okay? So get out there and mix and mingle and put yourself in places where people are like-minded. So sports, social activism, which we saw a great example of over this past weekend here in the States. There are places where you can go where you can find people that have the same interests. This is a time to do that. Okay. What kind of person? Well, there is someone from the past. There could be an air sign. Like I said, there's also someone here with super entrepreneurial energy. We also have an earth sign at the center that might be right in front of you. Okay. For those that are single and happy, good for you. Still working on formulating and connecting with larger groups of people, self-empowerment, self-development being the main focus, and getting a handle on, like, what do I want to do? You're not as distracted with all this other stuff, so you can really pick and choose your focal point right now. Okay, now let's take a look at destiny. All right, so we have a reflective card here, seeing the true you. And it's sometimes hard to admit, hey, I want this, or I stand for this, or I believe in this. But in this moment in time, that's really what's coming through. The unicorn energy that we were talking about a couple moments ago, especially, is coming through in this moment. Okay, this is especially connected to what we're looking at right now. So messages from guides and spirits. What haven't we looked at? I feel like we covered the gamut here, but is there one more thing that will really help you that you're not thinking about, or you're afraid to ask, or that I haven't looked at yet? What do you need to know? Well, it's a good message coming through here. You have what it takes to make this happen. In this moment in time, don't neglect your health. It's a resource that is finite to some degree. There's only so far you can stretch, and eventually you will break. You don't want to go there. It reminds me of a song by Everything But the Girl. But yeah, there's a point where patience will break, where other things will break, and you have to focus on that. Diplomacy is your best friend. This strength card shows something that feels bigger than life or intimidating, now in a sort of nice, calm phase, and the beautiful woman that's always a part of the strength card sitting there front and center saying, I did this. I was able to de-escalate. I was able to get what I wanted, and I didn't have to push so much. So the next step should be easier. And if it isn't, and if someone presents more of a block than they need to, let that inform what else might be out there. Allow yourself to find something where there's greater ease. At the end of this reading, we'll take a look at a final question. But first thing that we're going to do is meditate. Before I do that, like and subscribe. It is free. You can also give me a follow on social media. And to those that have celebrated an anniversary or have just become a member, thank you. Everyone else, you can also give a one-time super sticker or chat if you'd like to as well. Okay, let's get into meditation mode now. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Pull your shoulders up and back, and on the exhale, let everything go. Imagine that your problems, your worries, and everything is just kind of like going from your energy, your body, into the planet. Imagine, we talked about this a week ago, that you're just leaning against a tree, and it's almost like you're melting into it. Allow your back to be very much supported by that tree, and as you connect the back of your head, the occipital lobe, connecting it to the tree, you're starting to pick up on, it's almost like a big antenna, so it's bringing you insight from above, but it's also grounding you into the earth. So allow yourself to receive the heightened intuition that the tree can bring forth, and allow it to receive what you don't need and ground it. And just give gratitude to the tree as it's doing it. But anything that you don't want or need, you can even hug the tree and exhale, because that's actually like a blessing to the tree, but because it can use that for energy. But whatever you don't need or want, exhale and allow the tree to absorb it, ground it, and release it. And then start to receive the insight and the next step. Many of you know what you want, but you may not know where to go next. Imagine that those branches are reaching out into the depths of the universe, to your guides, to your ancient knowledge, to the Akashic records, and you're seeing a path unveil itself or unfold in front of you, like we saw on the Knight of Pentacles. Don't judge it, just receive it. Let it sit with you and allow it to continue to grow and develop over the course of the rest of today. Take a couple of additional breaths. These can also be breaths of gratitude for being able to be here, breaths to the tree that you're meditating with, and also just feeling like tomorrow is a new day and it will be easier than today. Set that as an intention, set that into motion. On the next natural exhale, gently open your eyes, turn your attention to one final question for today, and I'm going to pull that card now. Okay, we've got the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is in the reverse position. So, in this one, there's a couple of things. An ounce of protection is worth it. We have someone who has their shoelace tied to the tree. So it feels like there's a little, it's kind of like there's a string attached to something, figuratively. There might be something that could snag or prevent an easier path forward. So if you are aware, awake, and you are really leaning into what you need to do, it won't. All you have to do is untie that little knot. And it could just simply be an old way of thinking that's tying you to something that doesn't need to be there. She's holding on to an egg instead of a crystal ball or a globe. So there's something that is ready to hatch or to be born or to happen. And so in this moment, you have to kind of figure out when and where. Two of Wands in reverse is not giving or allowing yourself enough time to meditate or be present. Please give yourself the time to meditate and be present. If you ask me a yes or no, yes. However, you're missing something. Slow down, Hanged Man. Ask a question, Two of Swords reversed. And then and only then proceed, Two of Wands, when things are clearer, because you might be missing the big picture. Okay? All right. Thanks to everybody. For those who stuck around, I think I have at least one more to give for this month. So I'm going to gift a membership. Yeah, this will be the last set for this month, but feels like the right time. So thank you to all of you that showed up for today. Here's some new memberships. I'd like to take a couple moments now to say thank you to anybody that celebrated an anniversary today of being a member, or anyone that gave a membership. Okay, so to the following people. Here's my gratitude. And let's get into that too. By the way, thank you to everybody that showed up. I appreciate you. I'm here every single Sunday. As I said earlier, I'm going to get through the rest of the signs so that everyone that needs their reading can get it. And then we're going to change the format up for the rest of the month. Okay. For everybody here that is celebrating an anniversary, here we go. Michelle, thank you for 2 years. You probably just got a new icon there. Thank you for 2 years of being an amazing member. I appreciate your support. And good to have you here. Raven, thanks for the $9.99. I appreciate that. Kim D, welcome as a new member. Colette, thank you for sharing 5 memberships with the new people, and welcome to everyone that's a part of that. WSV, welcome. Good to have you here. Rebecca, you were kind enough to also gift 5 memberships. Thank you. Kristen, thank you for sharing a membership with someone new. Also, thank you for gifting a super sticker. I appreciate that. Heather, thank you also for gifting a super sticker, or giving a one, I should say. Michelle, thank you for giving away 1 membership. Tahoe, you're the one that I saw. 47 months, get out of town. You rock. I remember you during the pandemic popping in, so it's good to have you here still. I appreciate you. Monica, Yolanda, thank you guys for the stickers. Believe in magic. Absolutely, I believe in magic. Thank you for gifting a membership. Sarah LaRock, 39 months. That is awesome. And yeah, let's hope for the new location being a good one. And for anyone else who's in transition, same thing. Kristen, thanks for the sticker. Jeannie, thank you for the sticker as well. Welcome to everyone that just got my memberships. And I think that's everyone that's been gifted. Let me see if I missed anyone. I think I got most of what needed to be said there, but I'm going to quickly glance and I'll see if I can also welcome the newest members. Let's see if I can do that. I just have to limit how many I see here. So let's see. Okay, so welcome to or welcome back to the following. There'll be a couple of repeats. The repeats are the ones that gifted, but everyone else, you were the giftees, I guess. Enzo, welcome back. Shimo, welcome back. WSV, thanks again for gifting and joining. Gina, Timon, Divine Empress Energy, Anna, Chan, Dr. M.E., welcome. Elaine, Deborah, Karen, two Karens there, I think, and Jess, and let's see, Kim D, Sylvia, I am Kat, Andrea, AB, let's see, also Sherelle, and let's see if there's anyone else. I think I got everybody. Okay. Whoever I missed, I know that Dakota grabbed. So thank you so much. Let me see if I missed any super stickers. Hopefully I got all of them. I think I got everyone here, but just one last time. Raven, Kristen, Heather, Monica, Yolanda, Kristen, and Jeannie. Thank you guys so much. That, my friends, is everything for today. Keep an eye out for new updates. And let's see here. Yes, you're right. Much longer, though, Phoebe. I do remember you from back when I just, back in the day, did live streams before the pandemic. But I was doing the math. I'm like, at least that long. But yeah, thank you, everybody, for your love and support, for being a great part of this. I will be doing some news and announcements this week. Like I said, there's I have 2 ideas for the member videos that I want to do now. So a kind of Q&A, maybe some pick-a cards in that for higher tiers, and then a healing and membership, or a healing and meditation video as well, since that's not something that I do as much of. So trying to change it up a little bit with memberships, and just keep an eye out for other news and announcements, okay? The only source of official news is my website. So if you need some additional news and information, especially if I do decide to move forward with any sort of readings or coaching, it'll be there on my website when the time is right. For everything else, right here on YouTube. And take care of yourselves. Lots of love and light. Thank you again to Dakota for your assistance today. And let's see if Apollo, he's in the other room, but let's pull him over here and then we'll wrap up for today. All right, everyone, from Apollo and I, wishing you a great week ahead. Take care of yourselves. And until I see you then, much love and light.